My Dear Fiona by Frances Rosenfeld. Chapter 14, Viking Poetry. It wouldn't have been Denise if she didn't change our plans at the last minute, based on the schedules of her new friends. 2 days she'd been in a foreign country where she didn't know a soul and she already made friends, promised to help them set up the stage for their avant-garde play and left me flopping in the wind. Strange how one can still get distressed over being excluded when one left home for a solitary pursuit and went far away from the familiar places and people in order to find oneself. I put on my best face for Denise's benefit, and picked a destination to give her, annoyed more by my own reaction than my sister's predictably harebrained schedule and arbitrary choice of activities. "Are you sure you're not mad at me?" She gave me her loveliest smile, attached to a guilty cat's gaze. "Promise me you're not mad at me, Louise. I hate the thought of leaving you here all by yourself." She only called me Louise when she wanted to get on my good side. "Denise, you weren't supposed to come here in the first place. I've been here alone for months now, remember? I have work and plans." "Okay, if you say so." She headed for the door, then changed her mind. "You know, you could still come with us. I'm sure everyone would love to meet you and they could use another pair of hands." "Thanks, pass." "Okay, just call if you change your mind." "Denise, go." Denise shuffled to find her coat and left, and the echoes of her boundless untamed energy lingered behind for a while in the now strangely empty room. I sighed. I always wondered how she did it. How did she fill any space, no matter the size, with her ebullient presence and made it feel empty and sad when she left? We are all born to our fates, aren't we, Fiona? What are the fates of us invisible people? What are we for, those of us who skate over the surface of life, leaving no traces? I wished rooms felt empty when I left them too, for once, but objectively speaking, any room would be empty after I left. I seemed to always be the last one out, so there wouldn't be anyone in it to experience its emptiness. I could hear Fiona laugh out loud at my maudlin musings, and her clear laughter sounded infectious and puzzling at the same time. "Easy for you to be amused by this, princess. I bet you had accomplished counselors to guide you and an entire court running on your say-so. I bet you were never alone." That thought gave me pause for a second, the mere thought of living a historical destiny and never belonging to oneself. Your highest honor is your greatest pain. I planned the trip back to Biersea with a stop on the way to see your makeshift home, Skara, not knowing exactly what I was looking for there and still shaken by the vision your ghost dancing in underground chambers, holding human bones and laughing. "The days are long now, miss. The ghosts are all around. Be careful." My landlady waved me goodbye from the doorway with a cryptic smile and knowing eyes. I didn't expect to see the White Knights when I came to Orkney. I knew it was very far north, but the thought of their existence never visited me. People are blind to the aspects of life they aren't familiar with, like desert dwellers can't conceive of snow. I wondered if my research would justify staying here long enough into the fall to see the northern lights too. Life throws change at you in subtle shifts of perspective, not glaring signs. You only realize the consequences of an impulsive choice after your life was fundamentally altered and pushed in a different direction. I came here to find you, my princess, and found another world altogether, so different from the one I left. I keep wondering half the time if this is a dream or reality. I always thought we all lived this shared dream we call life together, and we all saw it the same way, but now I'm sure I'm wrong. We see what we expect to see, we make assumptions, we take things for granted, we build our certainty on what we are taught, on the beliefs supported by our social groups, like a religion of sorts, but very scientific and evidence-based, where we know there are no such things as days without end, or singing skies. Suddenly, the world became magic for me, Fiona. I feel like someone flipped a switch and Betty Louise from Eau Claire stepped out into a different reality. Once where the gods, together met. And the goddesses came, and council held. And the far-famed ones, the truth would find. Why baleful dreams to Balder had come. Maybe my sister is right. What is the point of planning our lives based on the little knowledge we have about the world, most of which is wrong, anyway? What happened at the stones, Fiona? Why did Jorun choose that sacred place for her last rest, and why can we hear you, see you in our dreams, so clearly, as if you were there. My parents lost hope for me a long time ago, right about when I doubled down on the anachronism of being a Betty Louise in the 21st century and buried myself in ancient bones, fascinated by Viking poetry, but my sister dreamt of you too, crazy live in the moment Denise. You are probably inspiring her right now, as she paints those decors for whatever esoteric production her new friends are putting together. I got so lost and thought I didn't realize I was almost clear across the island and had passed the stones of Stennis and the locks without noticing them, already familiar with their presence. This is how life lulls you into complacency. It shows you things you take for granted, it teaches you them and molds your mind to accept them as your reality, but they're not the same things that it shows other people, and the only difference between what you know to be true and a crazy confabulation is direct experience. Wise woman, cease not. I seek from thee, all to know, that I fain would ask, what maidens are they, who then shall weep, and toss to the sky, the yards of the sails? I wiped unexpected tears from my eyes and realized I got lost, driving on a different road than the one which took me to Biersey the first time, far from the seashore and winding gently between rounded hills. A quiet peace suffused me, I don't know why, like I was one with the hills, the road, and the sunlight, and it didn't matter where I found myself, because no matter where that was, it would be home. You didn't want to go to Scarborough, Fiona? I felt your fear, the sorrows of too short a life, squandered by brutal times. Here in the hills there is sunlight and peace, and a strange feeling of belonging. Oh Lord, if Dad could hear me now, for all the coin he dropped on my higher education all the way to my glossy PhD, guessing my way blind through research at the behest of a possibly non-existent dead woman. I wish my essays and studies prepared me for this. I wish I'd learned your language before I got on that plane to come here, and understood your legends and your way of life, the living poetry that was your life, in all its beauty and tragedy. I wish I didn't look at your stones and their carvings with the eyes of a detached observer, like there was no spirit and no life left in them, and felt how much your surrogate mother, teacher and counsel, Jerun, loved you, even unto her death. We are two peas in a pod, my princess, a very long pod spanning centuries. What kind of power did the women of your land hold in those cruel times, Fiona, that allowed them to become icons and legends, the poets, the warriors, the teachers, the leaders of nations, the visionaries, the explorers? What is the man, to me unknown, that has made me travel the troublous road? I was snowed on with snow, and smitten with rain, and drenched with dew. Long was I dead. But there was no man, milady, it was you. Who brought me here?